What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Go Talk on Markets, powered by PodDecks, fueled by Goat Fuel. Once again, join me on the show. It's Justin Marville with the hashtag thisJUSTin Sports Show and Guru of Guru's Film Room. What's up, fellas? How we doing tonight?
Hey, I am great, man. As always, man. I hear what's happening today. You
hear Justin?
I see Justin.
I see Justin.
And Justin's connection. Well, either way, I appreciate coming back here. I'm surprised Marcus got me here because, he knows I'm coming strong today. I'm coming to bust that you-know-what today. And I see he got himself a bodyguard, none other than his own partner right there. Right? Your own Packers, go Pack sticking together. So I understand, but I'm still going to come in and bust your ass because I got the yellow pad today.
Guru, I spanked you with a notepad on November 18th. It's dated and everything. I spanked you so bad I started drawing cubes on the bottom of the notepad. What are you talking about?
Justin is here. Don't worry about it. His bodyguard is here, so I
don't need a bodyguard. You need a bodyguard. I brought Justin for you. I don't need. Look, 28 days ago, I spanked you, and I needed you to come back.
That's the problem. This guy's living in the past, man. I'm about the current, man. That's all my
You're talking. Okay. It's okay. How are you today, Justin Marvel? How are you doing today?
Get
out of here.
Nah, I saw Guru was on the show. I was like, no, there's no way I can miss this show. Like, that is G to the U to the R to the U. There's no way, right? The guy who said he's about the analytics, I said I'm here.
And we're going to have a whole bunch of analytical people today. I know. Don't worry about it. I'll get it.
Hey, look, Guru, don't hate the player, hate the game. I can't. I mean, I've been spanking you all year. It is what it is. Let's jump right into it. We have a lot to talk about. Let's start with Brock Purdy. The final pick of this year's NFL draft has proven to be more than relevant. With two back-to-back wins for the 49ers, 49ers clinched the NFC West for the first time since they made it to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Their first time sweeping the Seahawks in the season since 2011. Last night on Thursday Night Football. Justin, can Brock Purdy lead the San Francisco 49ers to a Super Bowl?
The thing is, if there was a rookie quarterback named Mr. Irrelevant being the last pick that could do it, it would have to be on this team. And the reason I say that, this team is set up perfectly for a quarterback with little to no NFL experience to lead it. And the reason I say that is when you look at how this team is built. First, let's look on defense. This is arguably, man for man, the best defense in the entire football league, like from top to bottom. And I've heard me say this countless times. When you build teams, offensive, defense, you start from your lanes and push outwards. And the San Francisco 49ers have done just that on both sides of football. But this is an elite defense. So you're not asking your offense to carry the load. But then when you flip it on the other side, right, what do all of the 49ers playmakers have in common? They're all run after the catch guys. So when you talk about Deebo Samuel, and I know he's hurt right now, but he should be back in time for the playoffs. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, they're all run after the catch guys. And why is that important? You're not asking Brock Purdy to push the ball down the field every single possession. You're telling him, get the ball up quickly, get it to your playmakers, get them in space, and they're going to do the rest. So I hate to hear the term game manager, but essentially you're just asking Brock Purdy to manage the game. Don't turn over the football. Give your playmakers a chance, and, everything will be fine. And then on top of that, we all know Kyle Shanahan is from his father's tree, Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak, that zone running scheme offense. So again, like, you put Christian McCaffrey back there, you're going to run the ball a lot. And again, you're not asking Brock Purdy to do too much. I think he's averaging something like 7 point little yards per completion. And that obviously doesn't even factor in yards per attempt. So it tells me that he's not really throwing the ball much further past the line of scrimmage. And if that's a scenario that you want a rookie quarterback to come in, then this is the perfect scenario. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with him, though, because at the end of the day, you are going to face good teams. Like, maybe you get one bad team if you don't get the bite. in the playoffs. But after that, like these coaches are not stupid. They're going to figure it out. And during the course of a game where things get tight, he will be asked to make throws. And does he have it in him? I don't know. I will say this team likely will only win a Super Bowl if Jimmy Garoppolo gets back in time. But before I know I've gone on a long soliloquy, I will say this. And I know Guru is going to give me his eyes when I say this. Of the two young quarterbacks on the roster, Brock Purdy and I want to say Trey Lance, because of Brock Purdy's experience at college, and Trey Lance has hardly played. Like, this is a kid that's played, I want to say, 48 collegiate games, a 4-year starter, like over 12,000 passing yards, 83 touchdowns, I want to say. And in none of those 4 years, he threw double-digit interceptions. This kid is more ready right now to lead the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs than Trey Lance, simply because Trey Lance has not played that many football games. He doesn't have the experience.
Hey, Guru. Can Brock Purdy win a Super Bowl with the 49ers?
Absolutely not, man. And because a lot of the things is what Justin said, as he's eloquently said, but obviously there's certain things I disagree with him. But there's certain things about this league, man. It's all about the film. I know you guys want to give me numbers, average this, average that. I don't really care for that. So it's like I need about 3 to 4 game tapes, 3 to 5 game tapes on you to see what your strengths are, and this and that matters. So as far as, oh man, Justin going as far as Purdy got all this snaps, all this blah, blah, blah. The reason why he got all those snaps because he wasn't good enough to leave early like freaking Trey Lance. That's just the plain and simple. Nobody's going to willing to stay in college for 4 years if they have a chance to come to the NFL as a first-round draft pick. So I don't care for his experience in college. That means nothing to me in the NFL. Absolutely nothing. Daniel Jones had a hella experience in college. I don't think there's anything that's translated your college numbers to you being a great NFL quarterback. Absolutely not. So as far as that go, I definitely disagree with him. But everything he said is, like I said, I think the NFL is going to figure him out. They're going to take some things away from him. As far as their running play, they're going to make Purdy beat guys. They're going to take Kittles out because right now it seems like he only throws the ball to 2 players. That's Kittles and McCaffrey. So I could see that on film. Trust me, I watch films. I know defensive coordinator has seen this absolutely same thing. He's relying on Kittles and he's relying on McCaffrey. So you take one of those guys out the game. Specifically for me, I take out Kittle and make sure he try to beat me because I don't think McCaffrey's going to beat me by himself. But as far as that goes, I don't think they're very good enough to even honestly win a playoff game. If they do win a playoff, I don't know who they will be playing, but I don't think.
So you're trying to tell me if the San Francisco 49ers play the Commanders or Giants that they're not beating them at home in Levi Stadium? That's what you're saying?
Hey, because I heard some of you're a Ron Rivera fan, and he's a dominant defensive coordinator. So since he's such a great coach and a defensive coordinator, he should be able to get his scheme because he has playoff experience and also Super Bowl experience. So I think he should be able to come, and that's where he makes his money. So if he can't beat a rookie, quarterback, then obviously. But I think Rivera, any other coach, any other team that's going to be in the playoff, I think they're going to have enough smart coaching staff to do a game plan. Honestly, like I said, I've seen a couple of films. I've seen both games. I watched both films of the All 11. Like I said, you can figure out some stuff for them. I'll take Kittles out. Me personally, I'll take Kittles out and because I don't think he could just dump it down and win ball games. So I'm going to make him take some chances. The ball in tight spaces to Ayuk and and put him inside of those situations rather than those high difficulty situations. Right now, I don't see that, but like I said, they're going to be playing playoff teams, and we're going to find out what Purdy's all about.
I can't believe you just sat here and said with a straight face that the 49ers couldn't beat the Commanders or the Giants in the playoff game, Guru. I just can't.
You said Giants. I didn't say anything about Giants. We said Commanders.
Justin just asked about the Commanders and the Giants, and you said no.
The Giants. I was so with the Commanders because I don't think the Giants going to make the playoff personally. That's why I didn't think about it.
True.
There's one team in the NFC that has what it takes to beat the San Francisco 49ers, and that team's in Philadelphia. The Vikings aren't going to beat the 49ers. As much as I think the Cowboys could make a run at the Super Bowl, if they run into the 49ers, they're not going to win. The Commanders and the Giants are definitely not beating the 49ers in the playoffs. Like, this is a good football team. This is a football team that, let Guru tell it, is plug and play at the quarterback position. That's why you hate Jimmy G so much. Is because this is a plug and play system. They have a guy in Brock Purdy who they plugged in, and so far through 2 games, he's played exceptionally well. Not exceptionally well. He's played really. He's played good football.
That sounds like a plug and play to me.
Okay, so if this is a plug and play football team, how can Brock Purdy not lead this team to the Super Bowl? If
I didn't think they're going to be in the Super Bowl either way. I never thought they're going to the Super Bowl.
Why not?
Because they had Jimmy G.
What? No. At the beginning of the season, when Trey Lance was a starter, you were leading the San Fran to the Super Bowl bandwagon. Don't try to walk it back now. Don't try to walk it back now.
You remember what you said? When who?
When Trey. That's not the point.
Exactly.
No. But if this is a plug and play system, it don't matter who the quarterback is. You could quarterback this team to a plug and play football team.
Me, Guru, with absolutely no, because he's not played in Division 1 football. He's not played at a Power 5 school. Not even the entire FBS. You think right now, this minute, if Trey Lance were healthy, that the 49ers are a better team with Trey Lance than Jimmy Garoppolo? That's what you're saying?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
You're crazy. And you're crazy.
Okay,
you're crazy.
Go ahead, Guru. I want to hear this.
So first of all, y'all see what type of offense this offense is, right? So y'all saying it's not quarterback reliant, obviously, so it's not heavy load. But then you have a quarterback that could add on because we know what Kyle is. Of all the things, Kyle is a tricky finesse passing game guy. It's not about he's not sophisticated with that. It's based on his run. That's what it is. Everything's based on his alignment and the run. So he tried to outnumber you, out-cute you as far as the passing game. As you all saw in the game this past Thursday with the little fake screen and then double fake. That's just cute shit. You can't win games like that. His bread and butter is the running style. It's his run. And then with that quarterback in the roster, there's only one guy in his roster that even makes it more dynamic and more freaking out of this universe, and that's Trey Lance, and that's why they picked him up, because it's about systematically. He just fits more with his skill set. So when he gets to a situation where one thing, Justin, guys like Justin, talk about he didn't have experience of this or D1. Wow, the man played football. He's been playing football his whole life. Wherever you're from don't mean a damn thing when you're in the league.
Yeah, I agree that, but the problem is he hasn't been playing football for the last 3 seasons. That's a problem.
But like I said, where you mentioned, I don't know why you mentioned where he's from, this high school, all that don't mean nothing. I mean absolutely nothing.
I would agree with you, Guru, but the problem is wherever Trey Lance played, forget that he didn't play in the FBS. The problem is he hasn't played a ton of football. I think there's a stat or number, he's played less than 9 games over the last 3 seasons.
But that's what I'm saying. Either way, even Brad Purdy hasn't even played that many games already. So it's like we don't know. We don't have enough data for us. It's like inconclusive. That's why I want to see Trey Lance. But I see the ability and agility, and I think he can make with his addition in his offense, they're more dangerous to me. And that's the reason why, if you trust Kyle Shanahan and the GM, that's why they went and got a Trey Lance, because they know that the ceiling is extremely higher than anybody else.
Wait, real quick. I just have a quick question. What if I'm not mistaken, the Super Bowl is the pinnacle of the sport. What ceiling is higher than the Super Bowl? Because last I checked, Jimmy G has played in the Super Bowl with his football team. What higher ceiling is there?
Yeah, but he played badly in it. I didn't understand what Guru was saying.
We've all played bad games. I watched Tom Brady play a bad game in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, but I mean, no one wants to talk about it.
I understand what Guru was saying. His athletic upside obviously gives the offense more dynamism than Jimmy Garoppolo. But my issue is right now, because Trey Lance is not an NFL starting caliber quarterback right now this minute. I don't believe that.
He's not, Guru. Look, he's
really?
Not.
And Russell Wilson is the NFL starting quarterback. So is Baker Mayfield. I could name you other guys. Daniel Jones.
Whoa. No one ever said Baker Mayfield is an NFL starting caliber quarterback. Let's make one thing crystal clear. Baker Mayfield is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a qualified starting quarterback.
Is he starting? Is he a starting quarterback right now?
Starting by necessity. Like Geno Smith, your boy up there in the Pacific Northwest.
Ooh.
Geno Smith is starting by necessity.
That's
Taylor
a shot
Heineke,
there.
your boy on the Washington Snyders, as you like to call him, is starting by necessity. Brock Osweiler, or whatever his name is, or Brett Ripien, Colt McCoy, the two quarterbacks that are going to be playing against each other in the game between the Cardinals and the Broncos, are starting by necessity. Zach Wilson is starting by necessity. That does not mean just because you are suiting up to be QB1 on game day that you are an NFL-ready starting quarterback at Guru. And with all the all-22 film that you watch, sir, you should know that just because you are suiting up to play quarterback one come game day, that does not make you a starting quarterback caliber player in the National Football League. Baker Mayfield, Trey Lance, Colt McCoy, these are all bottom quadrant quarterbacks in the NFL.
I'm not willing to put Trey Lance in the bottom quadrant with those guys.
Maybe not the bottom quadrant, but he's not in the top half.
You hear this guy's emotion? You hear this guy just talking?
It's just emotion. These are facts. I can't believe you sat up here with a straight face and evoked the name of Baker Mayfield to prove a point.
Jimmy
you are better than that. You're better than that.
Like I said, Jim, you could talk all that what you want. That offense was trash without they don't have the same ceiling, man. That dink and dunk is not going to play. It's not going to happen in the playoff. That's why they come up short. That's why you get a big arm like a Trey Lance, bro.
Can we get back to the original question? The original question was, how can you say with all of your chest at the beginning of the season that the San Francisco 49ers don't need Jimmy G to be successful because this is a plug-and-play offense? And here we have a guy in Brock Purdy who they've plugged in, and he's playing well, and all of a sudden this team can't win a Super Bowl. If it's a plug-and-play offense, then what that means is the quarterback doesn't need to be playing great football for this team to win because they got all this other stuff going on. They got Nick Bosa, they got Dre Greenlaw, they got Travarius Ward, they got all these great guys on defense, they got all these great guys on offense, they got all these players. That's what you said, Guru. This is a plug-and-play football team, and now you're going to sit here and tell me that the guy that they plugged in and is playing and has played well beat the GOAT, blasted him, played great football in his first professional start, went out there in Seattle in a tough game on the road in a big game, played good football, only had like 3 incompletions, played good football. This team doesn't have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. But if Trey Lance,
I'm going to tell you this right now, bro.
I can't
there
believe
are a lot of teams that you're trusting in the NFC, and I'm telling you, there are really only 3 teams right now in the NFC that you should trust. Only 3.
Dude, I only trust. Honestly, I only trust 2 teams.
What are those 2 teams, Guru?
The Cowboys and the Eagles. What you mean?
Since when do you trust the Cowboys? Since when do you trust the Cowboys? I just listened to you the other day.
Unlike this guy, I take my emotion out. When I'm in the dark, in the film room, I don't care about this team, this, that. I don't have no emotion. I'm just watching players play, defense play defense. So I don't care about analytics.
That's not the question. Since when do you have faith in the Dallas Cowboys to do anything?
It's not about my faith. I'm just like an example.
You just said you trusted them. You have to have faith in someone.
I like systematically and plan-wise, scheme-wise, from the film's aspect of things. I like the way they're set up, especially in the NFC. I love the way they're set up. I'm not saying the NFC is very, very, really is top heavy. Like I said, my 2 top is the Cowboys and the Eagles. After that, the Vikings, and then obviously the Vikings. After that, I think it's anybody's game, to be honest with you.
You better put some respect on the San Francisco 49ers and put some respect on
them. I can't wait for the 49ers. If the 49ers make it to the Super Bowl, I can't wait.
They will not make it to the Super Bowl, bro.
Who's going to beat them? Who's going to beat them?
If Jimmy Garoppolo returns in time, Guru, you're going to eat those words.
Jimmy G or Brock Purdy, who's going to beat the 49ers in the NFC? Who?
The Eagles, man. The Eagles. The way you look on film, I'm going to tell you what I see on film, the difference between the 49ers and the Eagles, bro. It's like this. The way for me to really explain it to you, the 49ers are very, stiff in a sense, all right? So just follow me right here, man, because everything they do is so systematic. I swear. They don't have the same wiggle room. Yeah, you might think their receivers get yacked, but they're always in position to get smacked, and that's why they're always injuries. Like, they don't have wiggles. They have a lot of straight line. They have a lot of bruisers and stuff like that. They get beat up, man. You see the Eagles, they have a little bit more flexibility as far as their players, the way their scheme is set up. Everything about the Eagles is like they have more room for error.
I am ashamed of you, Guru. What position did you play when you were playing football, Guru? I'm ashamed. What position you played?
I played in the defensive backfield.
So that's why I told you didn't know this, Marcus. I knew that he's a safety. So, Guru, the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Philadelphia Eagles have one weakness, what is it, Guru?
Well, if you want, honestly, defensively, because the offense, I think they're perfect. Like every level of their offensive scheme set is.
No. Dipsy Doodle, answer the question. What is the problem that is?
I don't see because I don't like saying the problem. I think they had a scenario where they had a little difficult time with running because I think that was injuries. I don't think they
cannot stop the run. Don't Dipsy.
No, like I said, they identify their situation. Jordan Davis got hurt. Since he got hurt, we don't know what happened. They
cannot stop the run. What is the one thing? If there is one thing the San Francisco 49ers can do, what is it, Guru? What do the San Francisco 49ers do well?
They run the ball.
That Philadelphia Eagles team is not built to beat the San Francisco 49ers. They can beat everyone else in the NFC. They are not built to beat the San Francisco 49ers because they cannot out-physical them on either line of scrimmage.
Okay, let me ask you this question. All right. What is the best part defensively for the San Francisco 49ers?
Up front, they're front seven.
Okay, what is the best offensively for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Their two wide receivers and Devontae Smith.
The offensive line is the best offensive line in football.
Well, okay, yes, their offensive line is
great. No. Their offensive line is the best offensive line in football.
Wait, time out.
He is correct.
I know. Line in football. I know for a fact, Guru, you are not about to sit up here and tell me that Lane Johnson and company are going to be able to keep Nick Bosa and the ferocious 49ers front seven at bay, whether it's the pass rush or the run defense. I just know Mr. All 22 is not about to sell me on this right now. I just know you're not. I just know you're not. You're not.
I will, because one thing that's lacking with the San Francisco 49ers, and it's kind of hard for me to describe this from a film to verbalize this situation. It's like the best thing I could say is they're built more like a refrigerator. They're like a box seat. You know what I mean? So that means when you're boxy, you can't move laterally like that. You're powerful. You all run to the ball the same way. But the thing about the Eagles that makes them unique is the way they move. They got guys that shift. They got their guards that they pull. They move. They're lateral offense. They're horizontal offense. And I think the weak link for the 49ers, they're very good vertically defensively, but horizontally, it kind of reminds me like the Rams, how they used to have the greatest show and turn. It's like you're going to see Jalen Hurts roll out to the left, roll out to the right.
Put some respect on Fred Warner's name, please. Please, because you're acting like Fred Warner is not a great sideline to sideline guy.
You seen when the San Francisco 49ers lost this year, right? You saw against the Chicago Bears. It's like you had a guy like Justin Fields, you got wiggles. It's like they don't athletically, that defense is a power defense. They're not a finesse defense. And the Eagles offense, an offensive line, they're great run, they're great pass. You watch them play. Jalen Hurts is one of the least pressured, not even sacked, but pressured quarterback in the whole NFL. So I believe the offensive line, yes, with Lane Johnson, with my man Mulata and my man Dickinson, and obviously Kelsey, I think those guys, yes, will dominate.
Oh, I'm not going to say dominate.
I'm
not doing that far.
But I'm the one that speaks with emotion. Okay. Let's move on. There were two quarterbacks this past Sunday night that went to battle. And
there's one.
Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers came out on top in a crucial win for them, by the way, in the AFC playoff picture. There seems to be this ongoing debate, which I don't think really needs to be a debate, but there seems to be this ongoing debate about who's better, Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa. Guru, who's better, Herbert or Tua?
I mean, come on, you can't ask, you call my name. This is not it. What are you asking for as far as like likability?
Who's the better quarterback? Why are you trying to make this rocket science? Who's the better quarterback?
It's not a rocket science question, man. You know what? When I saw this question up there, I'm like, he must have nothing else to talk about right now, man. It's like we all, if anybody have a brain, we all could see the difference as far as ability and agility as far as Justin Herbert and Tua Tag. I can't say his last name. So, I mean, there's nothing to say. Like I said, I watched the film. I've seen one of the best throws I ever seen in my life. Basically, top 10 throws I've seen Justin Herbert made doing that game was. In fact, I gotta post that up because it was so incredible. And things like that Tua just can't do. It's different, man. It's just different. There's levels to this shit. You know, just like when Mark is talking his bullshit, his bull jiving, there's level to it. So I let him get to a certain level, and then the guru got to come up there and be like, "Hold up, son, hold up." That's why he went and got his brother, partner over there, his bodyguard to make sure. But it's all good. I take both of them on.
Look, this is no disrespect to the great Justin Marville. I don't need Justin to be my bodyguard. I'm also, first of all, I'm taller than Justin, so he can't be my bodyguard.
Personal attacks.
I'm taller than
personal
Justin.
shots now.
I'm willing to bet I'm stronger than, like, if anyone would be anyone's heavy, I would be Justin's heavy. Justin would not be mine. That's number one. Number two, and most importantly, not only did I spank you on this show on November 18th, Guru, last time you were here, I've spanked Justin on this show several times and his. So if anybody is anybody's bodyguard, I would be Justin's. Now, before you start spewing on this nonsensical soliloquy, trying to revise history about how you've beaten me all these times, let's just move on, because clearly I'm giving you an inch and you're trying to take them out. The Detroit Lions are.
Hold on, I want to jump into this situation.
No, I don't like where this is going. We're skipping this segment.
We don't need to skip this segment because I have told people about Tua before. I'm going to tell them again. And all right, Tua is a starting quarterback in this league. Fine, no problem with that.
Oh, he's a starting quarterback.
Right. So he's a starting quarterback.
He is.
Right.
Excuse me?
What?
You don't think Tua is a starting quarterback?
I think Tua is going to be just like Mr. Trubisky. In 3 years, Tua is going to be on the bench, being a backup somewhere.
I mean, I thought so last year too, but Mike McDaniel found a way to hide his inefficiencies. But like Guru said, there are actually good coaches in this league. Not very many, but there are good coaches in this league. And it was only sooner or later that everybody's going to wisen up to what was going on. And I don't know why it took so long. But first, the 49ers, the best defensive league, was the first one to expose them. And then this is a copycat league, so the Chargers followed suit. And all they did is as simple as it. They bodied up Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill at the lane. They jammed him at the lane, and every time they went over the middle, they said, "Okay, the only thing you can do to Tua Tagovailoa is pass the ball over the middle. We are going to dare you to beat us on the outside going deep. We're going to dare you." We're essentially, and he just couldn't do it because we all know he has extremely limited arm strength. We knew this coming out of Alabama. This is nothing shocking. Like, I'm with Guru. There's no comparison between the two. It's chalk and cheese. Like, we're talking about right now a top 5 quarterback and a below average player. And Mike McDaniel did so well to make us believe that Tua Tagovailoa was an MVP candidate. And before I continue, let me say, right, I need to put some respect on Tyreek Hill's name. Because when that trade was initially made, right, I said receivers don't win games. But Tyreek Hill is so dynamic, right? So blasted dynamic that we were made to think that Tua Tagovailoa was this second coming. And he's not a better receiver than Justin Jefferson or Devontae Adams. Like, I will not put him as a better receiver than that. But his impact on games are actually greater than those two. Because the speed over the top, you are so afraid of what Tyreek Hill does. Even after the catch, you are so afraid that other defenses react to that. But the Chargers and the San Francisco 49ers said, enough of that. We're going to body you up on the line of scrimmage and make us show you that you can play press. And when we get over the middle, we are going to hell well bump you again and play you so down physical. And the Miami Dolphins offense is just not a physical, strong offense. It really is not. Like Guru said, it is one of those finesse offenses. You give the ball to Waddle, you give the ball to Hill and let them do whatever they want to do after. That's what it is. And no teams are wising up to that. This is Tua Tagovailoa's best season. Tua Tagovailoa at his best is right now 22 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. This is Justin Herbert's worst season, and he is 21-7, just barely marginally behind. And we talk about how Tua Tagovailoa is this accurate quarterback. He has never in any season been more accurate than Justin Herbert. Still, this season, he is still not more accurate than Justin Herbert. He is, 66%, and Justin Herbert in his worst season right now is at 66.6. That just shows you. And he has been without his 2 top targets for a bunch of this season. There is no comparison. He is a bigger quarterback. He has a stronger arm. He can make every single throw. He is a better decision maker. This is not a comparison. This is like comparing. I don't even know the relative comparison.
See, you talking what? Yeah, exactly. This
is not a comparison. Justin Herbert.
I don't know what came up with Marcus. What the hell is wrong with him asking us this damn question? What is it? Twitter poll, man?
The only way.
Whoa. You do not come on this show and question the question. I needed to fill time, and I knew that Justin would give me a soliloquy about Justin Herbert. Okay, he needed to fill time.
Oh, I'm about to say I would have rather talk about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. I thought I was going to come up there. If y'all going to talk, is it a change of the guard type situation?
Hell no, we ain't talking about that. All I will say, the only reason this question came up is because those 2 players were in the same class and they were on the field at the same time. But reality
wasn't Burrow the first quarterback pick in that draft class?
Yep, he was the number 1.
And he's the best quarterback in that draft class. So.
Tua was number 5, and Justin Herbert was number 6. Like, I don't know. Like, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Like, I'm gonna take
Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in that draft class.
I don't know.
Let's put some respect on Joe Burrow's name.
Let's
put some respect on Joe Burrow's name. Well, let's stop disrespecting Joseph Lee Burrow. Anyway, and by the way, this is not the last you've heard of Joseph Lee Burrow for tonight. Anyway. The Lions right now, I believe, are 6-7. I think they are looking like the good football team. I think a lot of people maybe anticipated they were going to be this season, take that next step under Dan Campbell. They are also firmly in the playoff picture. By the way, like they are firmly in the playoff picture, and a win this week gets them one step closer to the playoffs. Now, of course, the Seahawks unfortunately do hold the tiebreaker over the Lions. So if worse comes to worse, the Lions would lose out of the playoffs because of a Seahawks and Lions having the same record. But Justin, I know you're a Packers fan like myself, and I know it's kind of against our religion. And I know you're not satisfied with the Dan Campbell era because you still haven't seen any Lions come onto the field like he promised, and no one's kneecaps have been bitten like he promised. But could we see a 9-win Detroit Lions playoff team this season?
Before I answer this question, and Guru's going to laugh, I spoke to Guru at the start of the season, and I told him, and he refused to hear me. So I want him now to apologize right now. I told him before the start of the season that the Green Bay Packers are going to go into Detroit and lose, and he refused to listen to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're getting
spanked. Even as the game was going on and we fell behind, Guru was messaging me and telling me, no, we're going to come back. And I told him, no, you need to respect this Detroit Lions team. So to answer your question, hell yes, Marcus. Like, I am not here to tell you that the Detroit Lions are a world beater. I'm not here to tell you that defense is good because it is still bad. There are still a lot of problems, especially in the back end, even though they have the talent to rectify their issues. But again, like Guru said, the NFC is top loaded. The rest of the NFC beyond the 3 teams I mentioned are trash, including the Minnesota Vikings, who, by the way, the Detroit Lions are fresh from spanking in Ford Field. Like, it was not even close as much as the scoreline would tell you. All of those yards that Kirk Cousins got, like, those are empty calories. Like, but we know about Kirk Cousins already. Back to the question.
No, Guru doesn't, because Guru loves Kirk Cousins. This is his favorite cousin. Let him tell it.
Oh, Guru's crazy. So
I agree.
On to and I saw Guru talking about they're shocked at Jared. You should be ashamed to open your mouth and say that, because I told you about these Detroit Lions. When everyone questioned why did they get rid of TJ Hawkinson, they knew what the hell they were doing because the offense didn't need him. I mean, like, when you look, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like, who I thought would have been the guy to elevate his offense has been hugely disappointing in DeAndre Swift. This team is going places, right? And I'm not a believer in Jared Goff, but this offense is hell of explosive when they are in Ford Field, by the way.
And not to cut you off, the other thing too about Jared Goff that I think is interesting is because of how well Jared Goff has been playing these last 2 years, and he does have one more year left on his contract, the Lions are in no real rush to draft a quarterback. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do draft a quarterback this season, but they could wait another year and draft a quarterback next year. They could very well do that.
Right? This is going to sound crazy, but if you have a position where you can move up the draft and get CJ Stroud, do it. But that's another conversation.
Of course.
No, Detroit got the Rams draft spots. They're going to have a top 5, top 6.
They're going to have a top 5.
Oh, my gosh. That's true. So I tell you this, no. As good as Jared Goff is playing, that is not your future. I'll draft CJ Stroud immediately without a shadow of a doubt. But going back to the question I had, this is a very, very dynamic offense. This does not waste possessions. This does not get into the red zone and kick field goals. This is, I'm going to get into the red zone. I am going to give it to Jamal Williams, and we're going to pound it and get into the end zone. Then, no, we've been doing all of this. The Detroit Lions have been doing all this without Jameson Williams. I know you're adding that to Amon-Ra St. Brown. This offense is very dynamic, again, when they play at home in Ford Field. Outside of that, there is a toss-up and a gamble. The defense is not great by any stretch of the imagination. But if you had to ask me to pick between them, the Commanders, the Giants, the Seahawks, give me the Lions every day. So can we see a 9-win Detroit Lions playoff team? I fully expect it.
Guru, are you going to change your tune again? Can we see a 9-win Detroit Lions playoff team?
Change my tune. First of all,
you do a lot of tune changing.
Oh man, see, I see how this guy. He didn't wait for me to even start talking, but he's already attacked me. You can see your non-verbal body language when you refer to me. Okay, we can see a little bit of tensionitis because you're mad about me whooping. It's all right. It's all good, brother.
Guru, I got so bored the last time you were on the show. I started drawing cubes at the bottom of my notes. I went over all the words and I traced it in pink. That's how bored I was.
The only thing I gotta tell the audience is, if you know you won, would you remember the date and time? When I win, I don't know if you remember.
I only remember the date because it's on the notepad. When I take notes, I put the date.
Let me answer this question that you so eloquent you mentioned. Once again, I just have to put this in there. I understand the Lions situation. Trust me, I am a Lions fan. Yes.
No, you're not. Stop lying.
Also,
stop lying. Can you stop?
Say this.
Can you stop lying?
I believe that. I do not believe there will be a 9-win team. Because at the end of the day, you see that G you're wearing, you see that green and that guy right there. You guys have a guy that's coming in the last stretch after a bye. One of the hottest teams in the league right now. It seems like the team that found what they're doing, the Green Bay Packers. Are you serious? I don't see that happen. I see more of the Packers winning out because I believe they still got one more game against Detroit, and that game is going to be in Lambeau. And one thing I could tell you about Jared Goff, they went to Jared, but Jared is usually in the mall. It's somewhere enclosed. All right. You never see Jared outside by itself. It's enclosed in a mall setting. So this game is going to be outside. All right. That's one thing we know about Jared. He's a different quarterback between inside and outside. Totally different. And you put the weather elements, the Detroit Lions, and know what they are. Okay. They're very nice. I'm kind of disappointed because I wanted to question more about the Commanders. Because if we're talking about Detroit, I believe we should be talking about the Commanders, who I think team-wise a bit more for a playoff because we've seen Rivera did this same thing before in the past. All right, accidentally backdoored into the playoff. But we could talk about.
Don't do this. Do not do that. Do not. But we'll get to them there, sir. Don't do that.
So my thing is to answer your question once again. As much as I love my Detroit, I love
my. What are you talking about right now?
Like I said,
doing?
As much as I do,
I wish I could use my phone to show the receipt.
It will be good enough. And I honestly believe the Packers are going to be the team that's going to win out in that division. So if anything, I see the Packers and the Commanders as far as the
You have more faith You have more faith in my Packers than they do. I mean, don't get me wrong.
We're getting dusted next week by the Dolphins, and you know that, Guru. You know that.
Like I told
Aaron,
you, Guru,
in South Beach.
Like I told you, Guru. Yes, the Detroit Lions are not good on the road or not good away in outdoor scenarios. There's no doubt about that.
Campbell only won one away game since he's been the head coach for the Detroit Lions. One away game, brother. One.
I'm with you, and I do not see them winning in Lambeau. I'm with you. I don't see them doing that. But for us to win out, like as good as we are in the elements, Dwayne just said it. We have to go to Miami. We have to leave cold weather right now, that because I'm not wearing a hoodie for fun. The reason I was so late to the show is because I had to go and shovel 4 or 5 inches of snow from outside. Like, it is cold here, and we have to transition from that on Monday night. On Christmas Day in the warm ass Miami, in that it's not Hard Rock Stadium anymore. I don't even know what stadium they are in anymore. But oh my gosh, like it is so warm. And Joe Barry is such a bad defensive coach. And I will give you that, Guru. You were the first guy to warn me the moment that we hired Joe Barry. You told me, bro, this ain't it. This is not it. And my gosh, but this is not a Packers rant. So I'll let you continue, Dwayne.
I'm just still stuck on this we. I keep hearing we. You are not a Lions fan. You do not like the Detroit Lions. You verbally berated the Detroit Lions at the beginning of the season. You talked about how you didn't have faith in Dan Campbell, how you didn't have faith in Jared Goff. Now it's week 14 or week 15, whatever week it is, and all of a sudden it's my Detroit Lions. My Detroit Lions. Get out of here with
and
all
don't
of
forget
this.
about Jacksonville Jags too now.
I'm so sick of you. The Detroit Lions are going to go. You're crazy.
Over who?
The Detroit Lions.
Who's going to be the last to get the spots then?
The Detroit Lions are more equipped for a running the table scenario than the Green Bay Packers are. It's just the reality of the situation. It just is. The Lions, every time the Lions play the Packers over the last couple seasons, it's almost the second game has almost always been the last week of the season, and the Lions have almost always won that game. I can think of one time in the last 5 years that we beat the Lions in the last week of the season. So that's a win for them.
Dan Campbell has only won one away game. So that means you all beat him. Only one. I remember one. And that was like 2 weeks ago.
The Detroit Lions are more equipped, more prepared, in a better position to win out than the Green Bay Packers are. The Packers have to go to Miami.
Okay. After a bye.
How many times have
then
the
Miami
Packers?
When is that game?
It's next week. It's on Christmas.
On Christmas Day.
Okay,
how many times?
Miami's going to Buffalo, right?
How many times has Aaron Rodgers played good football in a warm weather state? It doesn't happen. It very rarely happens. Dude,
I will
put
it up there.
He was just in Florida at the beginning of the season, and he played like garbage. And you think he's going to go back to Florida and play good football?
He won.
That's fine. The Bucs are not near the caliber of football team that the Miami Dolphins are, Guru, and you know
the same thing. I don't think highly of the Dolphins. I don't know what you're sucking on. You know what I'm saying? What you're sipping on or whatever.
If the Dolphins and the Bucs,
weed you're smoking
if
or
the Dolphins,
whatever, because you're talking rubbish. You making the Dolphins.
If the Dolphins and the Bucs played football tomorrow, the Dolphins would smoke the Bucs. No question.
I honestly, I don't know what you see. I definitely need that your prescription for your eyeglasses because my contacts got me blurry because. Whatever you see, I don't see. I don't see what you think I don't see the Dolphins. They might not even make the playoff, bro. Like the Dolphins are.
That doesn't mean they're not better than the Bucs. The Bucs are not a good football team. Have not been a good football team all season. The Buccaneers, no one wants to talk about it. The Buccaneers could actually miss the playoffs this season.
Anyway,
because the Panthers are still within reach and could still win this division. The Buccaneers are not. The Buccaneers are not safe. They're not safe and they're not good.
Because I'm finally, Steve Wilkes has got a chance to show that he deserves to be looked at as a head coach, but that's a conversation for another day. Because all of a sudden, Guru's guy, Matt Rule, is pushed out. And I saw Guru. Guru's a big Matt Rule fan.
I can't wait to see my guy in Nebraska. I go Big Red. That's my guy. I love me, Matt Rule. Yes.
And he is where he belongs in college because Matt Rule is not a good NFL head coach. And I'm glad we have finally realized that. The moment they got rid of Matt Rule and they traded their best player, all of a sudden the Carolina Panthers looked like a competent and good football team. The moment that Matt Rule left the building.
Anyways, I'm not going to let Justin take a little side shot.
Which is usually the theme. Every coach or player that is backed by Guru isn't good. And Matt Rule and Kirk Cousins are at the top of the list. Now, we have a massive NFC East matchup heading out to close out our Sunday slate on Sunday Night Football. 2 weeks ago, the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders tied, which makes their game this is ridiculous. Which makes their game this week on Sunday Night Football even more important than the game 2 weeks ago. As it stands right now, both the Giants and the Commanders are in the playoff picture, and it is possible that no matter who wins this game on Sunday, both teams could still make the playoffs despite what the Seahawks or the Lions or even our Packers, Justin, do. So with that being said, which team is scarier come playoff time? The Commanders or the Giants?
We talked about them all the topic long, the entire show long. We didn't even mention the Giants or barely mention the Giants twice. It's the Commanders. It's not even close. Like, I don't know what Brian Dable did to mask and disguise the corpse that is Daniel Jones. But again, there aren't all bad coaches in the NFL, and eventually somebody was going to catch on to the fact that Daniel Jones can't pass a lip beyond 10 yards. Daniel Jones is not an accurate passer in football, and all this team is disguising that's running the football league. It's Daniel Jones on the outside, give Saquon Barkley a swing pass on, toss it wide, run that zone stuff. This Giants team is bad. Then you sit down and see all of their wide receiver complement, all those options on the outside. Terrible. This team is winning with very good defense. Shout out to Wake Martindale and Saquon Barkley's resurgence. This is not a good football team, but let's not talk about the Commanders getting in just because the New York Giants are a bad football team. I think like Guru said, these Commanders are built well and built for playoff success. Eventually, when they find their answer at quarterback, this will be a good football team. And the reality situation, just look at these teams, what they have under center. There's Daniel Jones, a very bad quarterback. That's a bottom 5 start in this league. And then you have Taylor Heineke, who is 5-1 in his last 6 games. And Taylor Heineke is not great by any stretch of the imagination, but he is surely better than what the Giants have under center. Then you have the weapons that the Giants have, all around the park. This is a good football team on both sides of the football. They're built well. They built, again, from the lanes going out. As I've always said, that's how you build football teams. You start in line of scrimmage and you go outwards. And that's what the Washington Commanders have done. I don't know how they have the same record. I don't know how they tied. The Washington Commanders are a superior football team to the New York Giants.
I don't even want to let Guru talk, so I'm just going to sit here and bloviate about how good the Commanders are. But as all Commanders fans do.
Hold on, Guru,
go ahead,
before
Guru.
I finish and let you gain, how dare you look at me and tell me before the start of the show and on your clips, because I watch your clips every Monday morning, how dare you disrespect Ron Rivera like this? How dare you? You sit down and talk about some of these white coaches like they are gods and they are trash. And you rip Ron Rivera, and all Ron Rivera has done without a starting caliber quarterback is have a moribund franchise that is one of the worst run sporting franchise across all of American sports. And I'm not talking about the NFL, of all across American sports. You have survived an owner who wanted to put him out of the league 25 years ago. You have sat down and watched your talented rookie got shot in the leg and came back. All of these off-season distractions every single person who is a female that used to work at that organization is so in the past of the Washington Football Commanders. You have a situation where senators within Washington are coming out and trying to sue the Commanders. And all Ron Rivera has done is shut out the noise, win football games without a starting caliber quarterback, and has this team sniffing the playoffs. And you get on your Monday morning quarterback rants and talk about Ron Rivera. How dare you?
Hey, just real quick, Justin. The Ron Rivera is supposed to be a defensive guy, yeah? He's that's his thing. That's his bread and butter. Where are the Commanders' defense ranked in the league right now?
How much did they play without Chase Young?
No.
That's
Answer
the end of my
the
question. How much
Answer
did they
the
play
question.
without Chase Young? How much football
Where-
has Chase Young played?
Where are
We
the
can have this
Commanders?
discussion if Chase Young was playing football, and we could have this discussion.
Where was the Commanders' defense ranked? Where are
Chase
the
Young
Commanders?
has not played any football. If Chase Young had played football, we could have this discussion. If Chase Young was on the field, I could hear you. Chase Young has not been playing football, and this Washington Commanders is still
I remember
squarely in the hunt.
I actually remember last season after Chase Young got hurt that their D line got better statistically. So I don't want to hear anything about Chase Young not and because Chase Young hasn't played football all season, that's not an excuse. You're acting like Chase Young played football and then he left. Chase Young has played at max 2 games this season. That is not enough of a needle mover for you to deny the question. Where is the Commanders' defense ranked in football this season? This is a defensive guy. No. This is supposed to be a defensive guy. Defensive guys are supposed to have good defenses regardless. This defense sucks. This defense is terrible. This defense is horrible. This defense is awful. This defense is embarrassing.
Show me the great talent depth on this Washington Commanders, and then we can have this discussion. The mere fact, again, that this team
You're
is
moving
in
the
it with
goalposts, Justin.
I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm telling you reality. The reality is your best defender has not played football in Chase Young. Again, you have a quarterback that should not be starting for anyone. You have a situation where you have the worst owner in all of sports, and I'm not talking about just NFL. You have all of these off-field distractions. You had a star rookie got a gunshot in his leg, and returned to football. And some way, somehow, the Washington Commanders have I think they have a control of their own destiny to make the playoffs. How is that? Because Ron Rivera is a damn good football coach.
You're the only person in America outside of DC that thinks that. Go ahead, Guru.
Yeah, thank you, because that was splendid. That was splendid, Justin. From the way you said it, man, you made it seem like you could switch. You rather have Ron Rivera in Green Bay, than your coach.
Bring it. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
Bring it, please.
You want the LaFleur? Yes.
Please bring Ron Rivera, please.
So, look. One thing we can say about Ron Rivera, right? He's very good at galvanizing. He's very good at leadership. Whenever we say Ron Rivera, we never talk about his schemes. We never talk about his innovativeness. What we talk about, classic, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they're very disciplined, more militant in a sense. So, yes, Ron Rivera, we needed a stabilizer. You need a stabilizer. And his resume speaks for itself as far as being a stabilizer. But it's going to come to a point where you want to take the next step. And Ron Rivera's been in there coaching for, 13, 14 years, man. So, and he had a Hall of Fame caliber player at his possession, at his height of his coaching ability. And Ron Rivera only seen the playoff 3 times. So I won't go ahead and say,
you said Ron Rivera had a, you said he had a what?
A Hall of Fame type quarterback, a Hall of Fame type. I didn't say Hall of Fame type quarterback, which, a former MVP. His name will be up there as far as should we vote him in or not. His name will be up there. Anyways, I'm going to continue, okay? That's save another thing. But Ron Rivera is exactly what we needed in this situation at the moment right now. Yes, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. So, and yes, I think the Commanders will, of all the teams, I think the Commanders are right there. They're the 6th team as far as that playoff spot. I think they're going to earn that. I think they're better than situationally than the Giants. They're just better. They're just put in a better situation as far as Rivera's been there longer than Dable's been in New York. So familiarity and all that stuff plays a role. And obviously, I love me some Dan Campbell. We already discussed that, but I don't see them. It's just I just don't see him. Dan Campbell's another guy I just don't see. I think your boy LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, if you haven't seen the last couple of weeks, man, I mean, he's looking good. He's looking
because it took LaFleur, and this is where I'm talking about the incompetent white men, right? No, don't let me disrespect.
This is getting really. This is really going.
I want to hear this
because Brian Dable is a hell of a coach, right? And the mere fact that he has this Giants team without any sort of talent whatsoever, offensively at least, within a shout of making the playoffs is absolutely phenomenal. Like, even if he still is going to get Coach of the Year votes from me just because of what he has done with this bad team. But again, I've spoken about this. Like, Matt LaFleur, oh my word. How did it take you 3/4 of a season to realize that the Green Bay Packers should be a run-first team and everything that is a pass attempt should really be coming off of play action? How hard is that to have seen from the start of the season when you look at your roster? And that is why I'm talking about incompetence. Bad coaches, right, force players to fit into their systems. Good players fit their systems around their players. And that is how I know that Matt LaFleur does not know what he is doing. He has
You're angry.
No idea. And this is a team, right, to show you on the simplistic level. Guru, who are the Green Bay Packers' best skill position players? Who are they?
Jones, Watson.
All right, so stop. Aaron Jones is your best skill position player. As a coach, would it not then behoove you to make sure your best skill position player gets the ball as many times as possible? Isn't that what sports is about? To maximize the efforts of your best football players. So if Aaron Jones is your best skill position player, don't you run the football? Like, isn't that obvious? Then your second best skill position, let's take out Christian Watson for a second. Your second best skill position after that would have been Allen Lazard. What is Allen Lazard's best trait? His best trait is blocking on the edge. He is one of the best run blocking wide receivers in the NFL. So if that is the case, don't you run the football? Christian Watson, let's get to that other playmaker. Christian Watson, what is his best attribute? His speed. And how do you utilize a player's speed best, Guru? Not by utilizing play action, by bringing the linebackers up and sucking everyone up, and that player's speed gets behind everyone else.
Yeah.
And how do you sell people on play action? By running the hell out of the football. This shows me the Green Bay Packers offense led by Matt LaFleur for 3/4 of the season was absolutely clueless.
I love when Justin gets mad about the Packers. It makes me happy because there was a time when I was super pessimistic about the Packers and Justin was very optimistic about the Packers. And now it seems like Justin's finally joined the dark side. So I'm glad that you finally joined the dark side. There's one side, though, that Justin refuses to join, and maybe we'll get him to join it today when he finally comes to the light, because there's only one correct answer to the final question of the night. We've talked about the 49ers, we've talked about the Giants, we've talked about the Commanders, we've talked about the Cowboys. There's a lot of teams we've talked about. There is one team, though, that is the scariest team in the NFL heading into the playoffs. Guru, who's the scariest team in football?
I guess it got to be the Cincinnati Bengals. They got to be the scariest team because they got everything you need. And it's one of those situations, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not like it's a 1A and a 1B. And I also believe the scariest team are the Philadelphia Eagles. So, but obviously I give the with the experience to the Bengals, but whew, man, them Eagles are scary. But Bengals, yes, obviously they have the way the NFL is structured nowadays, man. You got to have certain players at certain situation. And it's all about weaponry. It's all about weapons. And it's all about the most devastating weapons. And right now, man, ain't nobody got the most devastating weapon in the league than Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I mean, those weapons is mass destruction, man. Like, it's just something about them. It's not only about the stats. It's just the demeanor. It's what it does for the team. It's just weird when they have that connection. It's like when it was Joe and Jerry. It's like when it was Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman. It is certain completion, even with quarterback. I even remember when it was Aaron Rodgers and Devonta Adams. There's certain connection. Even if you're behind, you look at each other like, oh yeah, we got this. We got this. And that's what I see with those two connections. And like I said, it's hard. It's hard in this league if you have those at those positions, elite weaponry. I don't think there's anybody doing it better at this level than them. And I think the second best person doing it is AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts.
Justin, who's the scariest team in football?
I'm ashamed of you, Guru, because Guru, you're a football player and you're a guy with the analytics. And we've talked about this all the time. Guru, we get caught up in looking at quarterbacks as skill position players. But where do you win football games, Guru? Where do you win them?
In the trenches.
In the trenches. And in both trenches, who is the most complete team in terms of both lanes? Who is it, Guru? Who is it?
I'll say the Eagles.
No, it's the damn San Francisco 49ers. And you know it, and everyone is scared. Like, which team has won 6 games in a row? It's the San Francisco 49ers. Which team has already wrapped up their division? It's the San Francisco 49ers. When you look at how this team is built, they have a dominant offensive line. They have a dominant defensive line. We get caught up in talking about quarterbacks, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, and we like to talk about who's the other kid, Josh Allen. We love to talk about quarterbacks, and we love to talk about Jamar Chase, and we like to watch and talk about Justin Jefferson. What did they tell y'all in the Super Bowl against the Rams? Which position did they tell y'all would win? I told y'all the Cincinnati Bengals and that deficiency up front with that line of scrimmage was not going to win, no matter how good Joseph Lee Burrow the second or third is, because you win football games in the trenches, and it was too much of a mismatch. They could not match up with that front four. And what happened? How did they win that game? Who took over the game? Aaron Donald turned that game on its side. The San Francisco 49ers have shown you everything. They've won 6 games in a row. So the hottest team right now. They've already the only team to have wrapped up their division already. There are no physical or glaring weaknesses in this 49ers team. They win football the way football is supposed to be won, in the trenches. You're not going to push them off of the offensive line, and you're hell well not going to push them off of their defensive line. They win football in the trenches. And I've said this over and over again. If you cannot block me up front, or you cannot stop penetration, or you cannot move me off of the line, you are not going to win football games. The San Francisco 49ers right now haven't won 6 games in a row. And at some point, when they get back Deebo Samuel healthy, you have the scariest trio in all of football. You have Deebo Samuel, you have George Kittle, you have Christian McCaffrey with that offensive line. And then on top of it, on the other side, you have the leading defensive player of the year candidate in Nick Bosa, and that defense with Fred Warner right behind him. I know you want to put Micah Parsons first, but the numbers suggest and tell me right now that Nick Bosa is the defensive player of the year. This is a scary football team, especially because the weather is getting cold, and that is where football is played. You have to run the football, and you have to stop the run. The Philadelphia Eagles cannot stop the run. The 49ers not only stop the run, but they run the football. This is easily the scariest team in the league right now, without a shadow of a doubt.
I just want to say,
Guru, a team that's scared. Like this dude, like one thing I had to say, the Eagles had like a couple of 2 games maybe back, and I could say they have problems stopping the run. All right, it's week 15. This team is 11-1. They got the biggest differential as far as turnover to creating turnover in the league, as far as that margin goes. Defensively, these guys they got one of the best defense.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Guru.
They had hold up. They had injuries. That's when, because before the first 8 weeks of the season, there was no deficiency as far as stopping the run. When Jordan Davis went down, a couple of injuries in the defensive line, which is the strength of the defense. I love slaying those guys, but the strength of the Eagles is the O-line and the D-line. And there's always one saying in football. It's sadly just like the you should say, a great pass beat a great defense. You know what I'm saying? A great offensive line always defeat a great defensive line. That's just what it is, man, because the rules are catered to the offense. So at the end of the day, I think the Eagles' O-line is better. I think that's not even question about it. From left tackle to right tackle, other than Trent Williams, I would take every Eagles offensive lineman over the 49ers offensive lineman, that's for sure. So as far as that goes, you can't scare me. And yes, I see as far as the defensive end on Bosa. Yes, but take away Bosa, you don't have another guy to have a double-digit sack on that. So don't get it fool you. They pressure you as systematically. But
and I'm glad you said
Bosa,
that.
hold up. Bosa is the only one in that gets sacks like that. So don't let that whole shit fool you. They might stop you as far as getting yards, but they're not dumb. They're not the Legion of Boom defense. They're not the no-fly zone. Like, this defense is not historic. You know what I'm saying?
Which is funny, but I know it's better than the Eagles. You know what? I'm glad you brought it up. You didn't even realize the Eagles rely heavily on getting turnovers, not the 49ers. The 49ers don't need turnovers to bludgeon you to death, because you said it yourself. This is a very physical defense. The Eagles rely on getting turnovers. But what happens?
And the thing about the playoffs, sadly, when you have a rookie, he's more prone to turning the ball over than the guy who already experienced the playoff, who's been there before, and especially a run dominant. Just like the 49ers, the Eagles just have a different run game. Their run game is more innovative and it's more modern per se than the 49ers run game now. So it's still, they got that RPO is deadly. And you talking about yak. The Eagles, they always talk about 49ers yak receivers. The Eagles got one of the best yak receiver core in all of football. And when it comes down to it, man, in this game, it's not only about the O-line and D-line, but the most important thing is the quarterback play. That is the most important thing. And that's what it's going to come down to, man. You have an MVP. You might have an MVP going against a rookie. I played this game. You watched this game. You might have played this game, but you never seen a rookie beat an MVP in the playoff. There's certain just don't happen.
And I'm going to tell you this now, for as much as we're talking, and he is correct in saying that Jalen Hurts should be the MVP front runner, I'm going to tell you this, Guru. The San Francisco 49ers are going to expose him, because you know what's going to happen? They are going to contain and keep him within the pocket. They're going to play they're going to play the Eagles as a run-first team. They're going to sit down and say, if you're going to beat us, Jalen Hurts, stay within the pocket and show us that you can beat us. Because unlike my Green Bay Packers,
and what's the weakest link on the whole entire San Francisco team and roster?
Is that secondary. But they're going to live with that. If Jalen Hurts can sit within the pocket and pick apart the 49ers, they're going to say, go right ahead and show us that you can do it.
And that's why they got A.J. Brown, and that's why they got, I mean, the thing is, he's such a multi-dimensional athlete. Like, you forget that pressure, he's the one guy that they got to watch how they play and also how they pressure. It's not like going against a regular quarterback that don't have no agility to move around. So if Bosa and those guys want to come all the way up, guess what? Boom, they're going to get beat. And the things, they got to get an extra spy with Fred Warner. That's going to give another coverage. Now y'all have nobody in the back end as far as coverage-wise. That's your problem right there.
NFC title game, we're going to back here, Guru, and we're going to have this conversation, the NFC title game.
Y'all done?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all done bloviating and yelling back and forth with two completely wrong answers? You done? I got Justin over here who sits around and tells me all the time that experience matters, but he's got a team with a rookie quarterback that's the scariest team in football. Mm-hmm. I got a guy over here in the Guru who didn't trust the Eagles 15 weeks ago. Now all of a sudden they're the scariest team in football. I will admit, I do appreciate the nod and the positivity that you gave towards the Cincinnati Bengals. And listen, on December 16th last season, the Cincinnati Bengals were in fact the scariest team in football. Not the scariest team in football though this year. And y'all can stay. Y'all can go after this. I don't really care. This is the fact of the matter. The scariest team in football, whether y'all like it or not, whether the world wants to accept it or not, It's the Dallas Cowboys. And it's really not that close. Like, this football team has been by far one of the best football teams post Dak's return in the NFL. They've lost two games. And I think one of those games was against the Eagles, who, as Guru mentioned, has only one loss on the season. And most people would acknowledge them to be the best team in football. They've got a guy by the name of Micah Parsons, who, despite what he said the other night with Von Miller on the Monday Night Football simulcast or whatever night that was, like, Micah Parsons, whether you want to admit it or not, Justin, is the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, and he has been since
Let me say this, huh?
That's number one. No, I didn't say it. I didn't utter a peep when you and Guru were yelling back and forth. I sat here quietly. I sat here quietly and I didn't utter a word. I want that same respect.
Before you finish, Micah Parsons is a top 5 footballer in the league. Forget all these quarterbacks. Micah Parsons is a top 5 footballer in the league. I'll continue. Go ahead. That's what I want to say.
Look, the Dallas Cowboys have what no one else in the NFC has, and that is the ability to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the 49ers could beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but when push comes to shove, if the ball is in Brock Purdy's hands with 2 minutes left in the game, I'm not trusting a rookie quarterback. I don't care how well he's played so far through 2 weeks. And to that point, I'll give Guru some credit from earlier, right? I'm not trusting Kirk Cousins with the ball in his hands against the Philadelphia Eagles with a couple minutes left on the clock. I don't care how well he's played this season. You know who I do trust with the ball in his hands, though? With a few minutes left on the clock?
Dak Prescott?
Yes, I trust Dak Prescott. You know why I trust Dak Prescott? Because how many top 10 quarterbacks in football do you not trust with the ball in their hands with a few minutes left on the clock? Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League today, and we need to start acting like it. I don't understand how Dak Prescott's getting all this slack and all this hate, and he doesn't get. No one else, no other quarterback in the top 10 has as short of a leash as Dak Prescott does, and it's baffling to me. Dak Prescott is playing great football this season. Ezekiel Elliott, I'll admit, much to my surprise, has also been playing good football this season. Tony Pollard has been playing exceptional football this season. Not to my surprise, because I thought that's exactly what they needed to do. CeeDee Lamb, despite what everyone else thought, has been quite reliable, even though no one thought he could be. Michael Gallup, upon his return, has been great. I think T.Y. Hilton joining the team is actually quite underrated because he's always been very reliable in big-time moments down the stretch of football games. Dalton Schultz, although he's not a top 5 tight end in football, he's definitely a top 10 tight end in football, and he makes big catches from time to time when he needs to be. And this defense has been one of the best defenses in football. Now, we'll acknowledge the 49ers do have the best defense in football because they're first in everything. But take away San Francisco from the equation, and you could make an argument that the Dallas Cowboys are the best defense in football, not in San Francisco. When I look at that and I say, this is a football team in Dallas that has all the pieces that we always talk about as it pertains to being successful and making deep playoff runs. The one thing and the reason why we never seem to give the Cowboys any props is because they always find ways to ruin the road to prosperity and the road to success for themselves. Dak Prescott's been playing great football. CeeDee Lamb's been playing great football. Tony Pollard can run the football out of it better than most. This running back duo, believe it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, this running back duo of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott is one of the best running back duos in football this season. And last time I checked, there's 2 things that travel come playoff time. It's defenses and it's the run game. And the Dallas Cowboys have one of the best defenses in football, and they have one of the best rushing attacks in football.
Who's the head
coach? They
are
100% the scariest team in the NFL.
Who's the head coach? Remind me who's. So you asked me just now, with the ball in their hands going down the stretch, you asked me to believe in Dak Prescott, right?
Mike McCarthy doesn't call the shots. Kellen Moore.
Hold on. Oh, but who manages the clock when they go on offense? Who does that?
Mike McCarthy does.
How good is Mike McCarthy at managing clocks at the end of games?
He's not.
You tend to forget about this, huh? I have not
forget about it.
I didn't forget. How bad a clock manager Mike McCarthy is, and for your viewers, if they think that clock management in football games, especially playoff games, is not essential, I would love to rewind them to last year. I would love to show them all of the games towards the end of the first half and close games, what Mike McCarthy does. Do you remember the game?
If you want to point out,
the game in Dallas? In Green Bay this season? Did you watch the Dallas.
I haven't watched. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't watched Green Bay football since we beat the Chicago.
Do you
Bears.
know in the fourth quarter the Dallas Cowboys were up 14 points against
I did know
Green Bay?
that. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Do you know the outcome of that football game?
We won that game in overtime with a field goal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I can sit here and talk about how the head coach of your football team not that long ago was the OC in Atlanta and blew a 28-3 lead because of poor play calling. I can also talk about the fact that he's blown other games since then because of poor play calling. I can also say I can also sit here on the other side and look at my left and look at Guru and say Nick Sirianni's never been in any kind of meaningful playoff scenario ever. How do we know that he's going to be a good coach come playoff time? So we can sit here, we can point fingers, and we can sit and we can nitpick about the inefficiency of head coaches. But here's the deal: there's 22 people on the football field at all times, and what I'm saying to you is the 22 offensive starters for the Dallas Cowboys and the 11 offensive starters for the Dallas Cowboys and the 11 defensive starters for the Dallas Cowboys are by far the scariest group of 22 starters in the NFL at this point in the season. I just watched this team a few nights ago score 33 points in the fourth quarter. A few weeks before that, they put their foot in the Minnesota Vikings' ass, and they were supposed to be one of the best teams in football, one of the best offenses in football. Vikings. The pick that you have, as Guru mentioned earlier, is led at the helm by Brock Purdy. And while I will admit that this is a plug-and-play offense, as Guru has eloquently told us time and time again throughout the course of the season, I'm never going to trust a rookie quarterback with the ball in his hands when the going gets tough. And say what you want about how great the trenches are for the Philadelphia Eagles. There are multiple teams that are in playoff positioning right now that can run the ball up and down the field on the Philadelphia Eagles, and one of them did it to hand them their only loss of the season in the Washington Commanders. Your Washington Commanders, Guru. As Justin mentioned earlier, you mean to tell me, and as I tried to tell you a couple weeks ago, you mean to tell me Christian McCaffrey can't get 150 on the Philadelphia Eagles on the ground? You mean to tell me that Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard combined can't rush for 120 and some change on the Philadelphia Eagles? You mean to tell me if they match up with Dalvin Cook and the Vikings that Dalvin Cook can't get his on the ground? So let's not sit here and pretend like the Philadelphia Eagles and the run defense is that's fine.
I don't sit here.
Okay, that's fine. Don't sit here, Guru, and pretend like that the Philadelphia Eagles run defense is impenetrable. And you, Justin, don't sit here and act like Kyle Shanahan hasn't had his coaching shortages as well. At the end of the day, the 22 starters that step foot on the football field for the Dallas Cowboys are the scariest 22 starters in the NFL right now because they're hot and they're clicking on all cylinders.
But you said they're hot, but who's hotter than the San Francisco 49ers right now?
I just told you who's hotter than the San Francisco
49ers. No,
I just did.
They've won 6 straight games. No one has one more.
Do you trust Brock Purdy?
The Bengals has won like 4 or 5 games in a row.
Do you trust Brock Purdy with the ball in his hands in playoffs?
Would you? I don't need to because it's situation. They told you before.
Why wouldn't you? What do you mean?
Well, I don't need to because, again, I told you, the 49ers are not going to put him in that position. That's not
The 49ers won't put him in this situation, but other teams.
Oh, yes, the all-knowing, omniscient, omnipotent Kyle Shanahan will never put Brock Purdy in that situation. Now, let's just say, for instance, that they get into a shootout. Look, it's possible that they could end up in a shootout with a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. You mean to sit here and tell me that Brock Purdy's not going to need to score a game-winning or a game-tying touchdown with the ball in his hands? You're going to sit here and tell me that the 49ers can avoid that situation?
We spoke about this early clock. What is the San Francisco 49ers offense? They get the ball out of the quarterback's hands early by putting it into their playmakers and let them operate. They're not going to ask Brock Purdy to do too much. They're not going to ask Brock Purdy to make decisions. They're going to tell him, these are your reads. Get the ball in the
NFL. Every quarterback has to make decisions.
But in other words, the decisions that Brock Purdy has to make are not the decisions that Jalen Hurts has to make. It's not the decisions in other words, it is get the ball out of Brock Purdy's hands as fast as possible. Let George Kittle operate. Let Christian McCaffrey operate. Let Deebo Samuel operate. That's what they do.
You do recognize that is literally the at its core the offensive game plan for every quarterback. In other words, is to get the ball out of your hands into your playmakers' hands so they can do something with it. That's how football works, Justin. That's not a San Fran exclusive.
But guys, let's be honest. No, let's be. Look at what the other quarterbacks. So let's say Dak Prescott. You have a situation where you have to push the ball downfield for somebody like CeeDee Lamb. That's not the 49ers offense. That's not what they do. They're not like Guru said, they're not a vertical offense. It is the lane of scrimmage is right here. Your playmakers are not far beyond the lane of scrimmage. Give your playmakers the ball and get the hell out of the way. Do not make mistakes.
I just watched Dak Prescott this past week lead a 98-yard game-winning touchdown drive. Can Brock Purdy do that?
Against the Texans.
No, that's fine. That's not the point. We're talking
the Texans
scenario.
The Texans who have this week shut down every last player so that they can ensure that
we're talking scenarios here. Forget what I'm saying is a scenario. And to your point, him doing it against the Texans would mean that if Brock Purdy had to do that against the Eagles or the Cowboys, it would be tougher. And you think Brock Purdy could lead a drive of that magnitude to win?
I get you. Hey, listen, I get this quite a bit because we all love the offense because right now Justin is talking about all the offense. One thing people and I love this, but one thing they fail to realize there's someone he called a defensive coordinator. Like, he got paid millions of dollars to some of them, one great one is probably on the 49ers, DeMarco Ryan, right? You know what his job is? To make sure this vaunted defense, you know what his job is? To stop the other offense best plays, right? That's what DeMarco Ryan's job is, right? So this thing is every team has a defensive coordinator.
Not every team has a good one, though.
Well, let me come up. And the better your team is as far as record and playoff caliber, guys, that means your defensive coordinator is probably very competent. So if I'm a D coordinator and I'm just so happen to be the Eagles D coordinator who's absolutely killing it, obviously. The Cowboys defensive coordinator who was a former head coach, obviously. I mean, you're talking about guys that could actually look at Kyle Shanahan's offense and be like, you know what, buddy, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to make Purdy beat me. You know how you do that? You put 8 men. Football is easy. I'm putting 8 men on the Bucs. That means I have more guys here than you do. And I'm just like what they did with Tua. I'm going to jam you. Now, Mr. Purdy, let me see you make decisions, right? And just as a DC now let me see you make accurate throws where the windows are this tight. When they heard the term says it's game of inches. We have not seen that. We will see that from defensive coordinators. Because just like me, I'm sitting here right now looking at all 22s and studying Purdy. So give me 3 to 4 weeks. I could get you a game plan to make sure I'm going to expose his weakness. If they adjust, then yes, they're a better coaching staff. But I'm going to show you, at least in the first half, exactly how to handle a guy like Purdy.
Hey, just hope
one last thing
that the 49ers can do the exact same thing, huh? DeMeco Ryans is actually a good defensive coordinator, huh?
That's what I'm saying. Don't forget about those guys. They get paid millions of dollars too now.
One last thing I'd say about the Cowboys that I think might play into their advantage. We're kind of talking a lot about how the NFC East is still up for grabs, and all 4 teams still realistically could win the division. But we know that unless the Cowboys beat the Eagles on Christmas Eve next week, the Eagles are going to win this division. And even with that win next week on Christmas Eve, the Eagles could still win the division over the Cowboys. I think it's very possible that the other reason why the Cowboys are the scariest team in the NFL heading into the playoffs is because maybe this is just me, but when you look at the Cowboys' their history over this last decade in the playoffs, they tend to play better outside of Dallas, which is weird. Most playoff teams play better at home, but the Cowboys don't, which would mean that right now the Cowboys' road to a Super Bowl potentially, or to the Super Bowl anyway, would be 3 road games. The Dallas Cowboys on the road, I think, is much, much, much scarier than the Dallas Cowboys at home because the Cowboys tend to play too loose. They tend to lose focus when they play playoff games at home. That's the last thing I'll say. But
I'm not a stats guy, but sometimes I look at stats too. Sometimes, but I'm not a stats guy. It's funny, right? For the last
I'm not a
5 years, right? The last time the Cowboys only won home playoff games. They have never won a
No. I didn't say they win road playoff games. I'm saying they play better on the road.
Because I know you're a guy that like average, like Jimmy G. You always like the average stuff. That's what you do.
I don't like
Dallas Cowboys.
You love the king of average, Kirk Cousins. Let's not. You love Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is the king of the land of average.
Well, Kirk Cousins right now he got the number 2 seed in the playoffs. So I'm just saying, if that's average to me, I'm not the best grader in the world.
You think Jimmy G is average, and Jimmy G had the number 1 seed in the playoffs a couple of years ago.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Had the number 1 seed?
The San Francisco 49ers.
Oh yeah, I remember that game because it came down to Greenlaw. I remember I was right here watching that game. It came down to Greenlaw making that tackle from inches away from being.
They were the number 1 seed, and they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the defense got them to the number 1 seed. Right?
You always find a way to discredit Jimmy G, but then you give Kirk Cousins all the credit. I bet if Kirk Cousins was the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, you wouldn't say half the things you say about how great this defense is, the way you talk about it with Jimmy G. And I don't like, you need to start putting some respect on Jimmy G's name. Oh, by the way, Jimmy G as the starter of the San Francisco 49ers, the 49ers are 38-17. Without Jimmy G, they're 11-29. That's almost 4 times as many games as they win with Jimmy G.
Like I said, I love my sandwich with cheese, but I could still eat that without cheese. Either way, I could eat it with cheese. It makes it better. It probably tastes better with a little cheese. But yeah, if I have no cheese in the fridge, I'm not gonna not make a sandwich. I'm like, oh, you know what?
I just can't believe that you sit here and you constantly crap and take shots at Jimmy G as if Kirk Cousins is eons better than Jimmy G, and you love yourself.
Kirk Cousins is better than Jimmy. You know it. I know it. We all.
I didn't say he's not. I said you act like he's light years ahead of Jimmy G, and he's not. The difference between Kirk Cousins and Jimmy G is quite minuscule. How many primetime games has Kirk Cousins won?
Oh my goodness!
How many big games in Kirk Cousins' career has he won? How many playoff games has Kirk Cousins won in his career? Not as many as Jimmy G has. I can tell you that for sure. Yeah, okay. How many conference championships has Kirk Cousins played in? 0. How many Super Bowls has Kirk Cousins played in? 0.
Okay, hold up. You mentioned your guy Dak, a top 10 quarterback. I think I heard you when you said some type of nonsense like that. So so you be talking about my favorite cousin, and you talking about Dak. I mean, really, what's the difference?
Dak Prescott's better than Kirk Cousins.
Justin, what's the difference between Kirk Cousins and Dak?
Dak Prescott's better than Kirk Cousins. Dak Prescott's more accurate. He's a better decision maker.
He's better arm than Kirk Cousins. No, he's not. You're an analytical guy.
I'm just not taking either quarterback right now. To be honest, don't ask me to take Dak Prescott. Don't ask me to take Kirk Cousins.
Again, you said at the top of the show that I talk with a lot of emotion. You seem to be the one that's really riled up right now, though, filled with emotion. I'm just saying.
I'm just give me the team that doesn't have to rely on a good quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, the only thing you care about is the D-line. The D-line. This is Chicago Bears 1980s football. The D-line.
Give me those down seconds.
Hey, this is Warren Sapp and the Tampa Bay D. This is the D-line. Man, this ain't that type of D-line, man. You could name one guy on that whole defensive line. Bozer. Nobody else got over 8 sacks. Nobody else, dude.
And they stopped the run like nobody's business. I want to see Philadelphia and this run-heavy offense that they like to do. And
one last thing. Where's this rhetoric came from about the Eagles having a bad rush? Like, where's this? They had 2 games of bad rushing game. From what I remember.
Because teams know, again, I tell you.
You know why? You know why? Because look at the secondary. How could you look? Your analytical stats nonsense, right? You can't pass. They got an all-pro corner right now. They're corner tandem with Gardner Johnson. It's probably
you did not just say that.
Again,
Guru. No. Hold on.
I've told y'all these incompetent head coaches, right? I told y'all before. And it took, I don't know, all down to the Green Bay game for teams to finally realize, wait a minute, this damn blasted football team can't stop a run. Why not just run hell on the football team? It took to the Green Bay Packers to realize we can run on this damn team. You know why? Because we sit here and praise all these damn white head coaches, and they are not good. They are not good. They are not good.
You did not.
It's about the quarterback and the offensive line, not the white coach or black coach.
These are bad coach. And I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you we have been sold into believing that all these guys who've gotten jobs through their families and in-laws and friends are all good. Look at all this league. Look, just because Mike Shanahan won 2 Super Bowls, no 3/4 of the league has come down for his down tree. And half that down tree ain't good.
Guru, you did not just sit up here with a straight face and tell me that the reason why teams are having so much success on the ground against the Eagles is because they have to run the ball? Is that what you just told me?
They have a higher, if they have to choose between running and passing, with as far as the structure of the Eagles defense, I mean, you're gonna have probably two guys that's gonna make an all-pro team, Slay and Gardner Johnson. Like, I mean, it's hard to pass on that. And Bradbury's a hell of a number two.
So why can't they just start the run too? Why can't they do that? With San Francisco for it, they just start the pass and the run.
So
this is true. This is true. This is true. This is true. That's a fact. That's a fact. I can't. That's a fact.
Like, yeah, sure, I can't pass on you, but you can also try to stop the run. But Philadelphia Eagles are not exactly great at it.
Okay, well, like I said, I this rhetoric of the Eagles so-called can't stop the run, because I get it. There's not a perfect team. If you only lost one game, and because one team ran the ball, not everybody's going to think that's how you lose a game. I get it. So when you search, and sometimes, when you search long enough, you're going to find what you think you're looking for. So I
know the Packers are a bad football team, and the Packers run the ball down their throat, and if LaFleur was any bit of a competent head coach, the Philadelphia Eagles would have lost that game. If LaFleur and Joe Barry knew what the hell they were doing, the Philadelphia Eagles would have left Lambeau with a loss as well too. Anyway, well, that's another conversation.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. That's okay. I'm just doing some. I'm just checking these box scores right here real quick.
What's the boxes?
Hold on. Oh, we gonna get there.
This rhetoric about the Eagles defense is really the film don't show that. Like, I really don't.
I know the film shows a team that is reliant on getting turnovers, and a team that needs.
I won't say rely on it. They just create. Dude, it's not their fault that corners could get interceptions. And they say, what do you mean? They don't rely on it because the defense caused the quarterback to misread, do something stupid.
Remember last season, right? When we also thought that Dallas's defense was good. And then we realized, hold on. Once you don't turn over the football, you run on Dallas's defense, they're not as good as we thought. And then Dallas realized, wait, we need to get better at being a more complete football team. You saw what happened? Again, I think we are seeing a similar situation in Philadelphia Eagles. We are seeing a team that is reliant on getting turnovers on defense, and we're translating. Oh, they get a lot of turnovers, so this must be a good defense. No, that's not what good defenses do.
The Philadelphia Eagles have played 13 games this season, Guru.
Okay.
They have allowed less than 100 yards on the ground 4 times. So don't sit here and talk about, where did this rhetoric come from? It's always in the game plan.
Let me just, the thing about once you're done, listen to that analytical stats nonsense, because I've seen them have 5 blowouts. You know what happened in blowouts? You just want to get the hell out of town and get the game finished.
And Guru, here's the thing.
Y'all see that?
They had 5. Hey, no. They had 5 blowouts. The 4 games that they allowed less than 100, the 4 games they allowed less than 100 yards were in those 5 blowouts. So when they're not blowing out football teams, it's because teams are rushing over 100. They actually let Damian Pierce run for over 130, actually.
In a blowout game, Guru, what does the opposition try to do to get back in the game? Not throw the football more?
No, easy. When the game is on, you're getting smoked by 28 points. You know what you do? I don't want to get injured. I'm going to coach my best players. I don't care for this game. Let's just run this clock and get the hell
prove my point. In games when they had 5 blowouts this season, and all 4 of the games when they allowed less than 100 points was in those 5 games.
Like I said,
so when they're not blowing out football teams, it's because they're running the rock.
You know what you do? When you know you can't pass against someone, there's only 2 ways of moving the ball in football, right? You either pass it or you run it, right? So
if never like to give credit where credit is due. Can we just sit here and acknowledge that the rush defense just isn't good?
The 49ers what? Just run it?
Or against the 49ers, you just don't score points at all, because you do know that you can also stop the run and stop the pass if you're a very great defense. I mean, most defenses can't do that.
From what I know, a great offensive line, which we know the Eagles are because they got probably the best dynamic offense in football. A great offensive line always beat a great.
We are going to see. I'm going to message you all game. during that NFC title game because make no mistake, that is
No,
the
they,
NFC title
they,
game.
what do you mean? The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Like there's no, it's the Eagles, dude. The Eagles are a superior team. The Eagles are the best overall team the way football is structured. Now that don't mean they can win the Super
Write that
Bowl.
down, Dwayne. Write that down. Don't draw squares. Don't draw diamonds. Don't write down dates. Write down what Guru said. Now the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, dude, that's a no-brainer.
Okay. And on Super Bowl Sunday, when I have my first Super Bowl special on Super Bowl Sunday and Super Bowl Sunday afternoon and
The
around
Eagles
2
will be in the
o'clock,
Super Bowl.
you'll be here. You'll be here when the Eagles are sitting at home on their couch.
Oh my God, you guys really? Okay, cool. All right. Like I said, watch out for the Green Bay Packers because I'm not sold on the Dan Campbell ankle-biting Detroit Lions because I still believe A-Rod. After a bye week,
No, you don't. You were just trashing A-Rod 2 weeks ago. What are we doing right now?
Wrong with the young generation. All right, you have all this information at your piece. So if you get new information, update information, you better have a different answer.
Guru, you're talking like you've been riding on A-Rod all season. You were just trashing A-Rod and the Packers 2 weeks ago.
Wasn't he trash then? And now guess what? Hey, he picked up his play. Yes or no?
Now all of a sudden you're riding with Aaron Rodgers. Get out of here.
Aaron Rodgers is going to the playoff. I want to see Aaron. That's my guy. Me and Aaron. Since he started taking his little drugs and I've seen him more often, I'm like, you know what? I like this guy, man. I keep telling you, Justin, like, I really, really enjoy this guy now, man. All his leadership skills I used to talk about, you know what? He leads a different way. All right, I get it now, man. He's been going through a lot off the field, with his dating scenes, and it's a lot. See, we give Tom Brady pass when he has domestic situation. A-Rod, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Aaron's going to lead y'all, and you don't want to lose no more games.
20 years from now, right? Y'all are going to call me or Skype me or however we decide going on in the future and how technology works and communication. We are going to message me and say, you know what, Justin, you were right about these bad coaches all along. And there are a ton of them across the league. And sooner we get rid of them, I actually put competent coaches, we're going to actually see what football's supposed to be like. But there are
not that many competent coaches. There's only going to be, just like anything else, you might have 6 competent coaches. But guess what? 4 of those guys won't have the quarterback. Mike Vrabel's one of the best coaches in the league, but he ain't going to have the quarterback to showcase for it. You have idiots like the Chargers head coach who I despise. He's whatever.
Brandon Staley is the height of incompetence when it comes to white privilege. Like,
oh my goodness!
Brandon Staley has no right being anyone's head coach. No right. This is a guy who inherited a football team because he coached Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey at the height of their powers. And all of a sudden, he's this defensive guru, and he goes to the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Los Angeles Chargers was a bad defense. Gets even worse with Brandon Staley at the helm. This is a dude who he signifies, he personifies white privilege and incompetence. Brandon Staley, my God.
This is slowly creeping into some unmarked territory I didn't anticipate we were going to get into. So
somebody's very, very upset right now. Hey, if you're a bad coach, you're a bad coach. If you're a good coach, you're a good coach.
I should not be able to sit down in my coach from miles away from stadiums and sit down and say, this is what you should be doing. This is not what you should be doing. And watch teams exploit you. I said, no, I have to see Joe Barry every single week. I have to see Zach Taylor every single week. These are bad coaches. These are bad coaches. These are not good coaches. I have to sit down and watch Joe Barry because as a Packer fan, I have watched every single game from probably 1995. And I have to sit down and watch people call Joe Barry a defensive coordinator. I have to sit down and believe and tell people this man knows what the hell he's doing. That's not a clue.
Guru, tell everyone where they can find you and all your content.
Hey, you gonna let me go after that great, Justin's come out of nowhere. Boom. Anyways, y'all can find me in any sites you could possibly have Wi-Fi connection. All right. So you can find me. Podcast is Monday Morning Football. Y'all just Google that. Do whatever you want to do with that IG or however the hell you want to do that. Just Google Monday Morning Football. And then y'all find me. Guru's Film Room is my hashtag over there on IG. So y'all go ahead, man. Just look me up, and I'm all football, everything. Unlike this guys over here, man, who talks rubbish and talk nonsense about unnecessary shit. You know what I'm saying? Mr. I like average food, average quarterback, average.
You love the king of average, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, this is my last words. You see, Mr. Interruption, Mr. I just kicked your ass today, and there's nothing you can say about it. Your brother Justin, all you want. I love doing this to him right there. He brings me in his own show, you know, so I could come kick his, you know what? Do you smell, you jabroni, what the guru is cooking?
I honestly request from the bottom of my heart that you never disrespect the great Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I greatly I need
you know, since I love catching up with my wrestling on your content over there, man.
I appreciate it. It's there's a lot of great things happening in the world of wrestling right now. Okay, Justin, let everyone know where they can find your show that you do every Monday.
Before I continue, let me say, please go. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't watched Guru yet, it is a very, very good piece every Monday morning after these Sunday night games. I make sure to watch Guru because I too like to look at all 22 and break down stuff. I'm not just an analytics numbers guy. I like to look at film as well, at least through Guru's eyes. So please, if you haven't subscribed, you haven't watched yet, please go wherever you watch and get your podcast. Go listen to Guru. And I do believe that there are competent white head coaches. Not very many, I do believe, because Mike Vrabel is a good one. So too is John Harbaugh, very, very good one, as well as Pete Carroll. These are good, competent white coaches. So don't think that I do not believe there are good white coaches in the league. They're just not very many. After all of that, let me just say, you can find my podcast primarily on YouTube every Monday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's hashtag thisJUSTin. Please, oh please put in the hashtag because Matt Skelman does not know about football. Matt Skelman does not know about basketball. He may be a boxing guy, but outside of that, he does not know sports. You want the real deal as it comes to numbers. I'm going to give you numbers. So hashtag thisJUSTin every Monday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. For short form content, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. Again, hashtag thisJUSTin. And we do not dodge anything, as you can tell. We don't dodge political stuff. I dive into coaching, dive into everything. We do not dodge anything.
You dodge Marcus when he's right, though, but it's okay.
No, we don't dodge. You called me on the show and I come. I was wrong about Denver Broncos, but so was everyone else. So that's all I'm missing.
You show up when you want to show up, Justin. When you think the heat's gone, that's all.
Nah, I come to defend. I'm not like Steezy. I don't dodge a duck and dive. I come. The Denver Broncos were bad. Russell Wilson was bad, and they came to hold my lick. So I'm here as a man to take it right in the chest.
Where are you, Steezy?
I stirred another pot here. Sorry, I should have brought that up again. Yeah.
Just curious. He's supposed to be on the show tonight. Never texted me back. It's okay though. It's okay. You'll be here before the end of the year. It's fine. It's always a pleasure to have these two knuckleheads on the show with me. Especially Guru, because he just keeps coming with, and I just keep kicking his ass. But it is what it is. I haven't been on Justin's show all season, which is weird.
I wonder why, because I gave him an invite this Monday night, and all of a sudden he couldn't get out of traffic. All of a sudden, no, the roads.
I had to work, bro. No, I had to work.
Oh, fair enough.
I work. I get off. I am shaping the minds of the mathematicians of tomorrow. That's all.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I told you if you have a show next Monday, I'll be free. I can be there.
This Monday, no, we are doing a World Cup episode pre-recorded.
Next Monday. Next Monday.
Oh, not this following. Oh,
no,
yeah.
Next Monday, the Monday after Christmas.
Oh, yeah. We'll get you on.
I'll be there to yell at you about all the bad takes you have, just like the bad takes you had here tonight. It is what
it's only
anyway.
Denver Broncos. Like, who saw Russell Wilson being this bad? No, I don't know.
When y'all make the playoff, thanks to Joe Barry, causing all those defensive interceptions.
You don't believe that. Anyway,
No.
it's always a pleasure to have these two guys on the show. You guys know where to find me: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at GTP Marcus. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook as well at search up Goat Talk with Marcus, or you can search up my name. Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube is where you can watch the show or listen to the show. We'll be right back here next week. Maybe depends. There will be no show the week after Christmas though. So next week will be the last show of 2022, and we'll come back the first Wednesday in January, and maybe Guru will be here to give me some more bad takes I can tell him he's wrong about. So for Guru of Guru's Film Room and for Justin of the hashtag thisJUSTin Sports Show, this is Marcus of Go Talker Marcus signing off. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, you guys enjoy the rest of your lives.